be.
Hello everyone and welcome to today's STPL. We're going to have two more great series coming up for you. This will be the end of week 6. We're going to have ReV versus SouL and DM versus ReV. Here is the format if you've never seen it before. I show this every time. I almost wonder if it's not even worth showing this anymore, but you never know. There could always be new people watching the STPL for the first time. But just to go through it, best of 5 all the way through to the grand finals, which will be a best of 7. Set 1 to 4, the lineup selected in advance, and all the games are played at the same time. And set 5 is an ace match, which means every player can compete again. So we've had a good tournament so far. We've had a lot of really cool games, a lot of really cool upset. We haven't had too many upsets this time, but we've come close, very close on multiple occasions. And there was a few upsets actually, and it was taking down IRK was incredible with Yeti taking down ZeLoT. That was probably one of the coolest wins I've seen Yeti get, and he is definitely going to be glad about that one. But let's introduce our first two teams for today. Starting us off here is going to be it's going to be Clan Revolution. I still need to remember to fix this. And yeah, NetWars almost took out Wiko, and they also Naz almost took out SouL. But I need to fix this still because the name still doesn't fit. But basically, Clan Revolution, really good team. It's really fun to watch them. They've not got the best players on their roster anymore because Avi unfortunately retired and Medina moved over to IRK. But they still come out and fight with a lot of spirit. They have gone 1-4 this season so far, and they have lost every time they've played against SouL so far, but could today be one of those upsets? We'll have to find out. SouL, of course, the reigning champions 3 times in a row. SouL being very strong. They've got very strong players, but they are not unbeatable. Now, obviously, you look at their all-time wins-losses, you think, are they ever going to get beaten? I mean, it's possible. They've been beaten before, and they can be beaten again. It's just they do have a very strong roster. But it's not only their Koreans. Their foreign players are very strong as well. But their foreign players, like, they've been trying to get them to play, but they don't want to play on the map pool. So that's their choice. If they don't want to play on the map pool, that's up to them. But it just means we get to see more games from really good players. So it doesn't bother me too much. I know there's people in... I know there's people like, oh, SouL only use Koreans, that's why they keep winning. Like, when you look at the foreigners that SouL have, they have some of the best players outside of Korea. They've got Dandy, they've got they've got Gorinich, they've got Bonith, of course, who is the best player outside of Korea without any sense of doubt. They also have Ziki as well, who was essentially the best foreign player ever up until Bonith started doing incredibly well. So it's basically crazy. Like, SouL have got a really good roster, both foreign and Korean. It's just their foreign players don't want to play on these maps, which is their choice. So let's have a look at the matchups we're going to have. We're starting off with a PvZ on Charmander between NarsiL and Spire, a ZvT between VIR and Hero on Paradise, ZvZ for poor Hirmu again, getting another Zerg player against ZeLoT. That should be an interesting matchup. And a PvT between Aeternum and Scan. Now, if I was to make a guess, I would say this is probably going to be one of our faster series, because I think even necessarily if SouL don't win, I think to get wins, ReV might play very aggressively here, because it's tough. They're up against some very, very good players, and it's kind of hard to tell how it's going to go. But let's introduce our first map. It is going to be Charmander. Now, Charmander, we've not had too many ZvPs here, but the ones we've had have been quite quick. Mutali versus Desarque was a little bit of a longer game, actually, but Smurfs versus Mitak was very fast. So let's get into it. It's going to be game number 1, and let's see who's going to be the first winner in today's STPL. Okay, starting us off up here in the top right hand corner, fighting for ReV, it's NarsiL. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom right hand corner in the white, fighting for SouL, it's Spire. Now just to kind of go into the map situation just a little bit. Realistically, like, a lot of the maps we've got this season are relatively standard. Like, even Freakling said when we were judging the maps, like, most of them, they're not played because we're the only tournament that uses them. But they're really standard. Oh, thank you, Sihi, for the host. Welcome, guys. You're tuning in to today's STPL. We're at the end of week 6. We're currently seeing the reigning champion SouL up against ReV. And we'll have to see how this is going to go. Now, we do have a 9 pool coming in from Spire, which could be indicative of some early aggression. NarsiL, I'm hoping, isn't going to go for a Nexus first, but it's going to be rough. Now, it looks like NarsiL is going to go out. He's probably going to go for a gate first here. Now, gate first is good, but it's very difficult to play against someone who's really, really good at Ling Micro. So Spire, oh, it is going to be a Forge Fast Expand. Okay, so we should be okay. As long as we get the cannons up in time, he should be able to defend this. So we'll have to see how this is going to go. Obviously, Spire doesn't necessarily have to go for an all-in off the back of a 9 pool. But in ZvP, unless you're going to go for an overpool, a 9 pool is kind of all-in. He's going for 6 Lings already. NarsiL hasn't got his probe ready to build any cannons just yet. He is going to be scouting his opponent last as well. And this is not looking good for NarsiL right now, because his probe is going to get there after the Lings are already heading over to his base. The Overlord has already seen the Forge. And he goes Nexus before cannon. I don't think this is going to work out very well. NarsiL is going to try and get a cannon up, but the Lings are already on the way. And this could go down as one of the fastest games in STPL history, because this cannon is not going to finish. And if this cannon doesn't finish, it's pretty much game over. Now, NarsiL is going to see the Lings. Is he going to tap out? No, he's going to wait. Maybe see if he can get a pylon in his main, but there we go. GG. NarsiL taps out. A little bit unfortunate on the scouting patterns, but it happens. That is going to be the end of game number 1. Now, we're going to be back in we're going to be back in like a minute, so don't go anywhere, and I'll see you guys soon.
Start. Thank you. Laser gun.
Okay guys, we're going to be heading into our second map. This is going to be the first TVZ we've had on this map, so I'm kind of interested to see how this is actually going to play out. I thought we'd get more Terrans on this map, honestly, but I think because TVP can be quite hard here, we're seeing a lot of Protoss and a lot of Zerg coming out, so to be honest, it's the STPL as well, and there's not that many Terrans. I mean, there's a lot more Terrans this season than there ever has been, which I'm incredibly happy about, but there we go. But it is going to be on Paradise. It's a 2-player map made by Gosomi, and it's coming up right now. Okay, starting us off here in the top left-hand corner in the pink, fighting for ReV. It's VIR. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom right-hand corner in the yellow, fighting for SouL. It's Hero. Also, Custom-Used Lucky Noob was joking. I nearly said he was dancing, but that's a different thing altogether. Yeah, this is going to be a TVZ. As I mentioned, this is actually the first TVZ we've had all tournament on this map. We've not had too many games overall in this map in general, but we have mostly seen Zerg and Protoss. We've had, how many games is this? 12, 15, 17. We've had 18 games on this map so far. Zerg seems to have a very big advantage in ZvP across the 9 games we've seen. But we've seen more TVTs on here than we have ZvZs, so obviously this being a ZvT even, there's a lot of different ways this can go. The main thing to note is, of course, that the natural is on the high ground, so it makes it a little bit harder to defend your ramp with Lings against something like vultures, but you do have the choke at the front that you can build a sunken at and sort of build a sunken wall if you're going into Mutalisks. Overall, this is a relatively standard map. Like, there's not really that much crazy going on about it. It's kind of similar to Blue Storm in the fact there is a path through the middle of the map, but it's quite small. So it makes it harder to get large armies through. So later on in the game, the high ground pods in the top right and bottom left become much more important as army movement becomes a lot more constricted. And that means we often end up with really, really cool situations in games. So hopefully we get to see a nice long TVZ here. I do want to figure out where exactly Zerg take their third base against Terran and things like that here, but it is Hero, very, very strong Terran player from South Korea, an ex-pro, used to play on, if I remember rightly, well, he was called Sexy, and I think he was on Oz. No, he was on We Made Fox, sorry, he was on We Made Fox. Hero, not quite at the same level he used to be, of course. Like, Hero isn't really making any big splashes in ASL or anything, but he's still a very, very good player. VIR is kind of unknown to me because I haven't really seen too much from him. He has lost both of his ZvTs he's played so far, but he played against Terra and Whip, so he's been up against some really strong Terrans, which is a little bit unfortunate that he hasn't had a relatively normal ZvT yet, but there's still a lot of time to go now. It looks like Hero is going to go for a tech build here, so we've got the factory coming in. He can also I think you can wall this off if he wants to, because you've got enough room for a add-on there as well. So it'll be interesting to see if he lifts his factory to do that. But maybe knowing that there's no 9 pull tells him that he doesn't need to worry about it. Now it looks like, he's trying to glitch the Marine behind the minerals, because if he gets the Marine behind there, the Lynx can't kill it. Oh, but it goes down. The SCV gets taken down as well, and that was a nice defense by Via. Now it looks like Via wants to take his third base behind the natural. There is a kind of easy to take third, but it's quite hard to defend the minerals, but not completely impossible. It's kind of better to see it here. You see the minerals here, but that'll give him access to a very early third base if he wants it. We've got the Hydralisk then coming in, so VIR is going to play this a little bit different to what you'd think in a standard game, but he is up against 2 Starport Wraith. So this Hydra then is going to be a very important tech decision for him. Now, is he going to go into Lurkers? He's got his lair up. Lurkers in any situation would be pretty good because you can put them behind the mineral line here and it's very difficult for Terran to deal with it. But if you go for Lurker Tech off of the base of this, it can be quite difficult. But going for blind, well, I don't think it was blind Hydras. He did know there was a factory and he sees there's no expansion. That's the important thing to point out. He could actually defend this. Now, 2-port Wraith can be anything if your micro is good enough, but it's still difficult. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. We've got a Vulture out here killing some of the Lings. One of the Vultures did go down, I believe. Braino asks, how does he get in to scout the starports? The thing is, he actually doesn't. But this is going to be a problem. The Vulture's actually getting into the main now. And there's going to be a lot of dead drones here. There's no Hydras morphing here either. There's no... Well, there is a reaction, but it's quite delayed. The Sunken was not in position to defend the ramp, and the ramp was not blocked. So this is 3 drones down already. Going to be 4 very soon. Could he get a 5th as well? Yes, he's going to. And this is going to go from bad to worse here because the 2 Wraiths are going to start to come in here. They will pick off Overlords and that will supply block VIR. And if he's supply blocked, he can't build any more Hydras. So it's going to be a case of what you see is what you get here. We've got an Engineering Bay coming in as well to defend against any possible Mutalisks and go into +1 for Bio as well. But that's a total of 7 drones lost so far. We're about to head into 8 have gone down now. And the Hydras can't get into a position to defend against this. They need to be here, but they can't get past the drones. And that's a little bit unfortunate. 9 drones have gone down so far. He should just really pull back to the main, I think, with his drones. But wait, he can get behind there. He can just run through. Okay, I think he maybe missed the fact that he killed that or something. Yeah, we've got 4 Wraiths already now. There's only 2 Hydras here. And I think VIR might be a little bit dead. A single Hydra is not going to be enough to kill 4 Wraiths, and these, they can start 2-shotting drones. So there we go, 1, 2, that's 11 drones. 12 drones. There's actually Lurkers heading towards his opponent's base. He's going to go all in, but as you can see, we already have the wall here. And that's a little bit unfortunate. I think VIR maybe having something planned here, but didn't expect to be up against 2-port Wraith. And he's just going to lose all of his drones. He's going into a creep colony. He's going to try and go for an evolution chamber, probably. He's got that coming up at the natural, but a Spore isn't going to save you at this point. You've already lost too much. We've got the Lurkers trying to run in, but the turret as well. Oh, this is so unfortunate to watch for poor VIR. But this is what happens when you go for a build that's risky anyway, and then your opponent is essentially going for a risky build as well. It makes it look so lopsided. That's just the one problem with going for cheesy builds. But yeah, it looks like this. We're down to 6 drones, 5 drones, 4 drones, 3 drones, 2 drones. There's 2 drones on the map right now. He's got 1 mineral. And he is going to tap out soon, surely. Looks like the drones are running away. He's going to try and get back to the main, but it doesn't matter. This is 5 Wraiths. 2 more Lurkers coming in, but he can't kill the turret. This doesn't matter. Essentially, none of this matters right now. Now, the Lurkers are going to be able to attack the barracks, but he's not going to be able to get in, and he's never going to be able to lift. Now, maybe if he holds on for long enough, he can get some more drones, but yeah, there we go. The Wraith count isn't going to go down. GG is called. And VIR taps out, leaving Hero as the winner of game number 2.
Theo!
Okay guys, welcome back. We're going to go into game number 3. This one's going to be a ZvZ. It's Hirmu. Unfortunately for him, he's got another ZvZ in a row. This is going to be Hirmu. Wait, I want to look at Hirmu's previous games. We'll have a look at that when we get in. But he's going to be up against ZeLoT. It's a ZvZ on Neo Moon Glaive. We've only had 2 of them so far, despite having so many ZvPs. So that's kind of interesting. But let's get into it. It's game number 3. Okay, starting us off up here in the top left, or the bottom left-hand corner, in the red, fighting for ReV. It's the current captain, it's Hirmu. Or at least the captain for STPL. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom left-hand corner, fighting for SouL. It's ZeLoT, the green. So when we look at Hirmu's last 10 games, I'm going to give chat a chance to guess this. How many ZvZs do you think that Hirmu has played in his last 10 games? There's a lot of people in chat who are here like every single week. So this is a good time to test your knowledge. Good time to test your knowledge here. Okay, it's not 8 or 9. It's a little bit lower. It's not 10 either. Lucky Noob saying 11. Lucky Noob got it at 7, although he's kind of cheating given the fact he guessed like 7 or 8 times. But yeah, 7 in his last 10 games have been ZvZs. Now both players going for a 9 pool 9 gas here. Kind of I want to say a standard opening in ZvZ, but it kind of isn't. It's a very aggressive opening in ZvZ to go for 9 pool 9 gas. It's not very economic at all, so I mean, it's possible we're going to see Ling all-ins from both players. ZeLoT definitely one of the more aggressive Zerg players in South Korea right now. He's not quite Quanro levels of aggression in all the matchups, but he's still pretty aggressive. Also, Lucky Noob is being technically correct by saying it was not stipulated that he could not spam guesses. Also, stipulated is like I really like the word stipulated. Okay, so we've got Lair coming up for ZeLoT, Lair coming up for Hirmu, so they're not going for Ling all-ins, they are going to go for Lair first. So they are basically rushing to the quickest possible Spire here. Now, Hirmu going to run across the map with his Lings. Looks like ZeLoT wanted to, but then pulled back. Stipulated is one of those words that I wouldn't expect someone who wasn't a native English speaker to know. It's a very, like, news-level English word. Like, you don't really use it very much in everyday conversation, so it's kind of cool. But looks like we do have Ling speed coming in for Hirmu. ZeLoT in a better position to defend at the moment, but we've got ZeLoT speed coming in for him as well. I kind of want to, let's do what all the cool people do, and let's select all the Lings. We've got 6 versus 6, or 6 versus 7. Oh, 6 versus 8 now. Okay, so here we're gonna turn back. Doesn't want to get involved in there. We do have the Overlord coming in for ZeLoT, so ZeLoT gonna have the information advantage, at least for the time being, because you'll see that Hirmu does not have an Overlord anywhere near his opponent. He's not even sending one. So Hirmu is kind of in the dark of what his opponent's doing. He's keeping a Ling here to try and defend and view and like keep an eye out on Ling all-ins. And this is why he's going to send his Ling in here. He wants to check the number. Is he going to get the Ling in the main? Oh no, the pathing. The pathing meant he couldn't get the Ling in the main. If he'd have just gone straight there, that would have gone straight in. That's so unfortunate, but yeah. He's seen the Ling count. He knows that he knew there was no hatch rate at the time. He didn't see the drone come down, I don't think. But he should know at least he's not... Oh, there we go. He gets back in. What great movement by Hirmu. All this ZvZ practice really paying off. Gets in, scouts the Spire timing, blocks the mining for a little bit. He's going for he's trying to go for a drone kill. Can he get one? No, he can't. Okay, but that's a lot of lost mining time here. Okay, it looks like Hirmu is actually going to switch up the moves here. He's going to add a lot of Lings. He knows A couple of drones have just been built, so he knows the lava shouldn't be stored up, but we've got mutas coming in now for ZeLoT off of one of his hatcheries. We've got the Spire almost finishing up, so we'll have 3 mutas starting here for Hirmu as well. But this Link battle is going to decide the course of the game most likely. Looks like ZeLoT not getting the better end of the stick here. Hirmu could actually get a massive upset. If he gets into the main right this second, he can kill a lot of drones, and he's going to do it. There's 5 Lings in the main base. The mutas are spawning, but there is still enough time to get at least a couple of drones here. He just needs to right-click on the drones. Does he get any of them? He gets one. Can he get a second? No, he can't, but the Lings have been cleaned up. He does bring the drone count a little bit closer. And let's see if he can get enough mutas to go and take out his opponent. He's got a little bit of an advantage now, at least in terms of momentum. But ZeLoT still, of course, does have the supply lead. He still has the worker lead. But he does have a Overlord in the middle of the map that can be sniped, so if Hirmu can find that, he may be in a pretty good spot. Okay, so we've got 5 mutas here against 4 currently with 2 Scourge. Looks like we're going to have another set of Scourge and mutas come in. So this is going to come once again, as all ZvZs do, down to the mutless battle. Now ZeLoT should on paper have better muteless micro. Of course, it's Korea versus Finland. Both players will be playing on a slightly lower turn rate than they may be used to, so it could go either way here. Now, is ZeLoT used to microing lag? Is Hirmu used to microing and lag? I think if anything, Hirmu probably has more experience with that, given most Koreans play on turn rate 24 only all the time in Korea. So that's one of the things I've never understood when people, especially when non-Korean players are like, well, I can't be Koreans, it's laggy. And it's like, they never play in lag, ever. But here we go, looks like we are going to have an engagement in the middle of the map. Let's see what the splitting is like on the mulists and the Scourge. Looks like Scourge going off on Scourge, not the best move. Nice micro though by Hirmu there, gets a good hit on the Scourge there without actually taking any damage. But of course it is 7 mutas at the moment against 5. He has to pull back and get some more reinforcements. Hirmu is definitely in a good position right now. If he can get in, get some drones, and then get back out, he could be okay. But looks like we are going to have some of the Scourge hitting Scourge again. It's 7 mutas against 6. Still not the best timing to go in, but the longer the game goes on, the worse the timing is going to be. He's down 6 drones. And he has to make this first engagement count. He has to kill a bunch of drones, or he will not win this game. Hirmu going to try and go for his second expansion now. Maybe going to look to try and drone up. He's taking his second gas. I'm not really sure about this one. Taking the second gas right now when you're so low down in workers doesn't seem worth it. But looks like Hirmu is going to bet all on managing to win this engagement, and let's see if he can do it. So we're now up to 10 mutless here. It's going to be 10 against 8. So Hirmu's still not in the worst position, but the mutless are heading towards his base. There's no Spire, or there's no spores or anything. So yeah, Hirmu's not even going to go all in. He's going to try and come back and defend, but I think basically by admitting you need to come back and defend, you've already lost the game. He had to kill all the drones. He had to go for some kind of trade. By coming back, he's not going to be able to defend against this. There's just mathematically more for ZeLoT right now. But let's see if he can do it. ZeLoT has put him down to 0 drones. This is all Hirmu is going to have now. He's not got enough for a drone either. And this is going to be game over. Unfortunately for Hirmu, he maybe should have stayed and gone further all in, but that's a little bit rough. The only thing he could have done there, which would have been cool, is if he'd gone Burrow. Because then obviously ZeLoT wouldn't have been able to do anything. GG is called. Hirmu taps out. And that's going to take us into game number 4 when we get back after this short break. Okay guys, welcome back. We're going to be going into game number 4. SouL, of course, won the series, but Aeternum has a chance here. If he can take down Scan on Blindside, he'll get a win on the board for ReV, which is going to be very important for them, and also very important for Aeternum, because anyone beating Scan is really, really good. So let's not waste any time. Let's get into it. It's game number 4. It's on Blindside, and it's Scan versus Aeternum at PvT. Okay, starting us off up here in the 12 o'clock position with the Protoss music again, because I'm never allowed to listen to the Terran music ever. It's Aeternum fighting for ReV. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom middle position. We have the blue Terran player fighting for SouL. It's Scan. Now Scan is currently rank 2 in the STPL overall. He did fall below Noob, as Noob went a little bit ahead of him. He's 10 ELO down after his loss to Dragon on Tears of Goddess. So Scan is definitely going to be looking to get a win here. He does have an 80% win rate over 21 games against Protoss. So this is going to be tough for Aeternum. Aeternum hasn't actually beaten a Terran player yet. He's only played 2 games though, and he's just getting warmed up. So let's see how this is going to go. Usually we'd see... Okay, so this is one of the things that I don't necessarily agree with, but of course when someone goes up against Scan, they usually think, if I cheese him, I can win. Now sometimes that will work, like Dragon went 4 DTs against Scan last week, and he did win. But if you don't normally cheese, and you go for a technical cheese, it's going to be harder to execute. So sometimes it's just better to play standard against someone who's better than you. Now, Aeternum, of course, isn't quite Scan's level. Scan is one of the best amateur Terrans in Korea, but Aeternum still has a fighting shot here. Scan has bled before. Even if he ain't got time to bleed, he's still doing it. Looks like Scan wants to go and scout. But he can't actually get his SCV out because it's tight, which I don't think he realized. But the SCV will glitch through the barracks and come through and go for a scout here. Very important, he checks for proxies and things like that. He's essentially, Scan has probably got PTSD recently because a lot of players are cheesing him. So he just wants to make sure he's not getting cheesed. Obviously going for a normal scout timing as well is Scan. Okay, Scan looks like he's going to go for an expansion on location. Now this is usually quite risky. He is going to be up against 2-gate Power Goon here, so Aeternum definitely going to be able to put the pressure on a little bit early, which makes me think Scan is probably not going to go for I say a low ground CC, but yeah, he's going to delay that for now. He's going to go for the bunker first. Now, you can still build your CC there, but obviously it's a little bit harder against 2-gate Power Goon. 2-gate Power Goon, in case you don't know what it is basically... I don't even think people call it that anymore. I think it might just be me. But this way you go 2 gateways, Dragoon range, and you just pump Dragoons and then expand behind it. But you usually expand a little bit later. Sometimes you can go into ReV or DT behind it as well. I wonder if anyone actually calls it 2-gate Power Goon other than me. I don't think I've ever noticed anyone call it that anymore. I wonder what the proper name for it is these days. I don't even know if 2-gate Power Goon is the right name. I've just always used it. Like, in the last, I started playing Brood War in 2008, so that was 12 years ago. And I've always used that name. Now, we do have a Citadel coming in, so Aeternum is going to go for DTs here. Now, as I mentioned before, Scan has been up against a lot of DTs recently. He did lose to it last week. So if anyone is going to be prepared against DTs, it should be Scan. You can already see that Scan is scouting around everywhere for a proxy right now. Because he is like, what tech are you going for? Where are you proxying it? Why can't I find it? Now he is going to go back. He should see the Templar Archives when he gets back in there. But this is why Aeternum should leave a Dragoon here to make sure he can't be scouted. But looks like we do have the 2 Dragoons getting close to the bunker. This one needs to pull back. He pulled back the wrong Dragoon. That's actually a lot of damage to take. You definitely don't want that happening. Barrack's going to be used to soak up some of the shots to save the bunker. Looks like range is just now finished. How are they not in range of the bunker? I don't understand how this is happening, but is Scan going to make the same mistake he made against Dragon? Against Dragon, he skipped detection, doing the exact same build he's doing now, and no, he's not going to. The Engineer and Bay is coming on up here. Looks like Scan didn't get in. I think the... Wait, did he? Did he get back into the main with the SCV, or did he pull the SCV back? Oh, thank you, Cake Sauce, for the sub. Oh, he did. He killed the SCV, so he did stop the SCV from scouting him. But Scan does know to go for this anyway. You probably saw there was no Nexus. And you are more than welcome. I enjoyed making it, so I'm glad people actually enjoy watching it. Otherwise it'd be a bit sad if I was just casting to myself over and over again, like I was when I first started. If I'd have never got to cast with SouL, I probably still would be doing that. I mean, to be honest, I maybe wouldn't even be doing tournaments anymore. Casting with SouL made me enjoy it a lot more. Now, the SCV being used to check the Dragoon count outside of his base nearly draws him back into tank fire as well. So, Scan getting ready to defend. We've got the missile turrets coming up. We've got the first... No, that's not a DT. That's 2 Zealots. Here are the first 2 DTs. Now, these DTs realistically shouldn't get in. But if he goes all in with the Dragoons and kills the turret... Oh, look at what Scan's doing. This is so annoying. Dealing with this is so frustrating as a Protoss player because you can't click, well, you can click the turret, but it's basically important. It's basically impossible to click it, not important. It is important you click it because you have to kill the turret or your DTs will die. But it's a very good move from the Terran to do. It doesn't really take a lot of APM to be able to do this as Terran either. Now the one bad thing is you can't repair the turret. So here we go. He's going to lead with the DTs as well. I'm not sure I agree with this, but the DT is actually going to go on top of the tanks here. Oh my god, is he going to kill the tanks? He kills 2 of the tanks and the DT is going to get in the main? Oh my god, the Dragoon's getting killed though. Wait, oh, there is a turret in the main. Okay, this shouldn't really do anything. A little bit unfortunate, but he is going to be able to do some damage. He should actually try to just stop this factory coming up if he can. Looks like he wants to try and go for some of the tanks. The tank's going to focus fire on top of the DT. DT going to pull back. A little bit of miss micro there on the Zealot. I maybe feel like he should go for the machine shop instead, but looks like he is just going to go for this. It's kind of guaranteed damage at this point, so there we go. Looks like we do have a single tank back here. It has been microed back, but it's going to micro forward again. We've got an academy here used as a wall. No more DTs are going to get in here, but this DT is attacking the factory. It will eventually get to kill it. And Scan doesn't have anything in place to be able to deal with it. So that's summon. Back at home, we've got Aeternum coming up with his Nexus. He is expanding, going into a 3rd gateway as well. Now, the question is, has he done enough damage? Oh my god, he uses SCV to kill the DT with Splash. Scan is so damn good. He repairs his factory at the last second as well. Scan is number 2 in the STPL for a reason, and that's exactly why. It's not that hard to do either. It's a pain because you don't want to lose an SCV, and if you mess up, you waste an SCV. But Scan knows what he was doing. Noob is number 1. Noob, also known as Ajuk12. Is it Ajuk? Is it Ja in Korean, or is it? Yeah, it's Ja, isn't it? Might be Ajuk. Wait, Ajuk maybe. Ajuki. I know 1 is E and then 2 is not Ni. That's Japanese. I don't know. I'm not good with Korean. I don't know Korean. I know Japanese, but not Korean. Maybe Castamuse can help me out. Yeah, how do you how do you say that, Castamuse? Not that yeah, it's Noob, I know that, but that was his previous name, right? Ajuk12. Is it Ajuk? Ajuk? Ajukin? Ajukin? I can't remember what 2 is in Korean. I don't I don't know how to count to 3 in Korean. I know Sa is 3. Star is 3, but I don't know what 2 is. I've forgotten. That's kind of embarrassing. With all the mine. Oh no, the mines. The mines, the mines, the mines! Oh! I hate watching Dragoons run into mines. E to E? That's E, right? Okay, we've got a High Templar drop actually coming in here. This could be a very strong move. He doesn't really have any defense against High Templar and Storm. So is it Ajokiri? Irui? Irui? Ajokiri? Is that how you say it? I don't know. Oh, this SCV is a little bit confused. Going for a little dance session here. Now, Storm can actually be very good at defending against these early pushes as well. We've got 6 tanks heading up towards his main base, so definitely want to be in a good position to defend against that. The shuttle hasn't flown away yet, so it is going to be used for defense. And it's going to be very important that he's got it, because he is going to be up against a very strong Terran push here. Custom use, praising my Korean pronunciation. I don't believe that, but I don't know. Here we go. Storm coming in. Does miss the first storm, but gets a good second storm. Good third storm as well. And that's actually going to allow him to clean up these tanks. If these Dragoons get on top of the tanks here, this is 4 free tanks. And he gets another one. He needs to kill the mine, though. Oh, the mine. And he cleans up Scan's push. And there we go. That's going to allow him to take his third base. Nicely held there by Aeternum. Going for Storm after the failed DTs was actually a really good choice. Not many players do that. And it always surprises me. They always try and rush Arbiter and then it never really works. Like, rushing Arbiter doesn't work, I swear to God. And that's why a lot of the top Korean players, like Best right now, are playing Arbiterless. Because when you go 2-base Arbiter, you're kind of like going, okay, if my first Arbiter either dies or gets EMP'd, I lose the game. Whereas if you go Storm, Storm is the great equalizer. Like, tanks always clump up. Unless you're like Flash level God, like making your tanks on clump is so annoying. It's something the Terran player doesn't want to deal with, and most of them don't. So a lot of the time Storm can be really powerful, and that's exactly what we saw here. We've even got Kadarian Amulet coming in here, which is going to give those High Templar more Storm energy. So Aeternum playing like I don't think I've ever seen anyone play in the STPL so far, which is kind of cool. We've got 2 High Templar here. He should really go for 4, because 4 is kind of the magic number. You can get a lot of Storms. Scan, of course, does have his third base as well, so I'd still put Scan at a little bit of an advantage, but to go for the build he did. I think his, where is his first armory? Oh, it's down here. So wait, has he got +1 already? Yeah, so Scan actually, uncharacteristically, his upgrades are mistimed. His science facility is late, and so is his second armory, so he is not going to be getting 2-1 at the perfect timing. I say that's kind of uncharacteristic because Scan kind of plays very strong macro-wise, so being able to sort of force Scan into a mistake like that is really cool. I mean, it could obviously be a design choice by his build, but I kind of want to give Aeternum the benefit of the doubt here. Now, Scan is going for a dropship, so he's going to be trying to drop some... wait, I swear he built a dropship here, there we go. He's going to move up and drop some vultures into the main base of Aeternum. Now, Aeternum doesn't have much defense back at home. He's got a lot of Dragoons kind of at the natural, but he's got nothing to defend against drops here. And I don't think he saw the dropship with anything, so this drop could do a lot of damage. And this is the kind of move that Scan makes a lot to get himself quite far ahead in games. And this is why he's so hard to deal with. He's strong at macro and he's also strong at harassment. And that kind of makes the hallmark of a good player. Now we've got Aeternum pulling his probes away very quickly. Nice reaction times. Not going to lose too many of them here. So Aeternum is playing really well. He's still got a supply lead over Scan. He does have less workers, but he didn't lose the game to either Scan's push or to his drop, which is really, really nice. And yeah, this is a really nice SimCity setup as well. It makes it very easy for his units to sort of filter in and out, but it makes it kind of hard for the Terran to go in and out as well, so it's nicely done. Now Scan back at home is at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 factories, plus 2 attack, plus 1 armor is on the way. Of course, as I mentioned before, it's quite late, but he's kind of just sitting back here, just defending. Aeternum doesn't look like he wants to throw the game away, so he's not going to be pushing in just yet. We've got a cannon coming up. And oh, this is actually good timing. He's going to move in. Oh, he's got... Oh, if he gets his Dragoons to get this dropship, that's actually a pretty big win. But he's moving away from the dropship. The tank is going to drop behind the minerals. And this is going to be really annoying to deal with. Looks like Aeternum wanted to try and clean up the Dragoons in the middle of the map. But to do this, he's letting the tank kill all of his probes. He defended the first drop so well. And then this time, he just struggled a little bit. I don't think he realized it was coming. And all of the probes at his third base went down. That is probably the worst thing that Aeternum's done this game. There was a drop at 12 as well, which he was dealing with, but there was a cannon that kind of helped clean that up. But that tank was very, very good. Nice drops by Scan, though. The thing is, the reason why I say it was a bit weird that he missed it is because he had Dragoons here. They would have killed the dropship, but he didn't move them away because I think he wanted to go for an attack. Now, this is when things start to get a little bit difficult. Terran are in a very well sieged position here. There's a lot of really clumped tanks which are good for Storm, but it's getting your High Templars anywhere near them that's the problem. Now, he's actually got more High Templars than he has shuttles. He needs to pick them up. But here we go. Looks like he wants to come in from behind. The ZeLoT's being dropped off first. Coming in from both sides, but oh my god, the High Templar dying as soon as they land. No Storms cast. And that's going to be, I think, the end of this push. He needs to pull back. This High Templar going to come in and die before I can even cast Storm. That's a little bit unfortunate. Aeternum, who is doing really well, has started to drop the ball a little bit. He had to go in with his full army if he wanted to make that work, and he didn't send everything in. Obviously, sending your full army in is a risk because you can lose it all, but that's how you get the Storm drop to work. You cannot Storm drop if all you're dropping is the High Templar. They will just die. And that means that we're now going to have Scan with a massive army over here, and it's going to be so difficult for Aeternum to be able to stop him. And he did have 3 shuttles throughout that, so I think he just tried to go a little bit too hard on the stuff there. We did have an EMP go down on something. Like, wait, did he EMP, or was that just the... Oh, I think it was the D-Matrix he casted. I don't think there was another vessel there, but I swear I saw the EMP animation, but... Here we go. Looks like we are going to have Scan pushing through the middle. This is vision blockers, so he can't push completely undeterred. But looks like Scan is going to be marching his way to victory here. Aeternum is down 26 supply now. He's got a lot of army. He still has Storm. If he can get the perfect Storms here, we could see a Hurricane and an upset, but it's going to be rough. He has to get the perfect Storms. If he cannot get the perfect Storms, the game is over. His units are getting stuck on the ramp. And I don't see a way he can break this Terran force. This is too good. We've got 2-1 upgrades on the Terran. We've only got 1-0 for Protoss. Obviously, Protoss upgrades don't scale as well. But he has to get Storms. And he's struggling to get the Storms in, and that's the problem. And yeah, the 4 shuttle drop, the Polish recall. Here's the first Storm. It misses. I nearly said the wrong thing and said miffed, but miffed is the wrong word. But he does get a couple of Storms off. Not quite enough, but does damage quite a lot of the tanks here. So maybe he can make something happen here. He has to go in with all of his units, though. But he's down 50 supply. I mean, if he kills all the tanks and resets the tank count, he is in a good spot. But there's still so many tanks on the high ground. He cannot get up to them. And this means Scan is going to be in an even better situation. They were good Storms, though, after the first one. The vessel goes down. The tanks at the front going down as well. But unfortunately, I think there's just too much Terran. Mathematically, Aeternum is checkmated here. And he's put up a damn good fight, but unfortunately, this has got to be the final push of the game. Unless there's a miracle. There we go. GG. Aeternum taps out. Scan wins game number 4. And that's going to take us in to the results screen. And then after that, we'll obviously go to our second series. So let's head on over here to have a look at the results. Just need to make sure I'm clicked on the right screen. I'm all over the place today, but we're getting there. So SouL, of course, taking the 4-0 sweep. I mean, SouL are definitely, without a doubt, the strongest team in the league. ReV, Still a pretty strong team, but at the moment they are like closer to the bottom of the table. A little bit unfortunate. They've not got their best roster anymore, but the roster they send out give us good games every time. We've had a lot of quick games in this series, but that final game was a good one. Aeternum was actually in a really good position for quite a lot of it, and that was in spite of having a failed DT all in. So I would say Aeternum should feel really proud about how he played against Scan there, because he stopped his first push, and a lot of people wouldn't be able to do that. That first push is supposed to counter a failed DT all in, and he saved his third. So really well done by him. He did lose eventually. That is unfortunate, but that's going to be us for series number 1. When we get back, we'll be heading in to Red versus DM, and that'll be after this short break. See you guys soon. Okay guys, welcome back. We're going into our second series of today. Starting us off here is going to be DM. DM, I think, are one of the bottom two teams, and I am looking at the wrong screen. Let's try that again. Yeah, here we go. So we're going to go into DM versus Red. DM, of course, one of our kind of standout teams in Season 1. They did really, really well. They've kind of fallen off a little bit in Season 2. In Season 3, they did okay. And in Season 4, they're doing a little bit better. They've added a lot of newer players this season, with Sandara and Dai being two of Castamuse's friends. Now, unfortunately, Sandara did give a walkover in his previous game, so I know Castamuse kicked his ass. So hopefully he's going to come out here with a renewed sense of optimism. But let's have a look at their opponent. This is going to be Red. Now, Red are actually doing really well this season. 2 wins, 3 losses. Overall, they've almost got a 50% win rate. And against each other, it's 3 wins, 2 losses. So it's very, very close. It's going to be interesting to see how this is going to play out. We've got MasterRey, aka LML. We've got rOuta, Cryoc, and LML as well. So very strong lineup here from Red. Of course, rOuta hasn't won a game so far, but he always comes out with some really technical builds. So I'm kind of interested to see how that's going to go. Let's have a look at the lineups we're going to have today. Unfortunately, this is the day of PvPs. We've got Sandara versus MasterRey on Charmander. That should actually be a cool PvP, I'm not gonna lie. We've got Bonbom versus rOuta on Paradise. That should be pretty fun as well. We've got a TBT between Whip and Cryoc on Neo Moon Glaive, and then we've got Dai versus LML on Blindside as a ZvP. So kind of looking forward to seeing how this is gonna go. Let's have a look at game. The first map we're going to be going into, it is going to be Charmander. We've only had 2 PvPs so far here. They've both lasted pretty much around the exact same time. They were both really cool PvPs as well. MasterRey did win his only game here. So I'm kind of interested to see how this is going to go. Let's get into it. It's game number 1 between DM and Red. Okay, starting us off up here in the top left-hand corner in the red, fighting for Red, it's MasterRey from Germany. And his opponent spawning up here in the top right-hand corner, fighting for Sandara. Oh my goodness. Fighting for DM, it's Sandara in the blue from South Korea. Also, if someone wants to be a smart aleck in chat, please count the amount of times I call MasterRey LML, because it happens a lot. Now, LML isn't actually here right now, so I'm not going to see his name in chat, so I shouldn't get confused. But if someone can count for me, if you want to have something to do and there's nothing better to do with your free time, please do count how many times I say LML instead of MasterRey. I'm going to start calling him Ray instead, because maybe then I can't get it wrong. Now, it is, of course, a PvP. Now, Ray, I almost said the wrong name there. Ray has played 8 PvPs so far in the STPL. He's got a 50% win rate. Sandara has played 2 PvPs so far, and he lost both of them. One was against Wiko's last, and one was against NarsiL from ReV, so it's going to be interesting to see how he does here against Ray. We've got a gateway first coming in for both players, so both players going for mirror builds. Looks like we do have the gas coming in sooner for Sandara though. We do have MasterRey going for a second pylon first, so looks like Ray is going to go into a ZeLoT first, I think. Maybe go for, yeah, he's going to go for a liter gas, so it shouldn't really matter too much, but he'll have enough minerals for a ZeLoT a little bit quicker maybe. Or if I completely misjudged everything, we're going to have a quicker core coming up for Sandara. What's the benefit of going for a liter gas? He does get a ZeLoT. Okay, I guess you get the ZeLoT faster, and you don't have enough money for a core, but Ryan Metal saying in chat, honestly, I'm just surprised Sandara still shows up to play after all the abuse CM subjects him to whenever he loses. Yeah, whenever Sandara's lost so far, Castamuse is like, I'm gonna kick his ass. And it's like, oh my god, what the hell? Castamuse is violent. He's a bully. Well, he's not actually a bully, he's only joking, but... Yeah, we've got the call coming in for Ray as well. Now, Probe going to be scouting out everything that's going on. That's going to happen for a while until you get a Dragoon. The Probe shouldn't die. It can die if you miss your micro, but it's very, very unlikely. Oh my god, Logan hit him up saying Cassius is like the old KT manager, the guy with the baseball bat. Oh, that was always funny whenever he appeared on stream. That was so good. It looks like Ray unfortunately does lose his probe. He did mess up a little bit. He is trying to catch the probe with his ZeLoT, so kind of understandable. The Dragoon comes out anyway, so the probe was about to die. Right, Mel saying that's why KT was the best team, they had no choice. I mean, that would be true if SKT wasn't better. Just saying, SKT, best KT, don't at me. I think SKT won more tournaments as well, if I remember correctly. KT were basically carried by Flash. I mean, they had, like, Nada and Nelra earlier on, but, like, later on it was just Flash and Flash alone, basically. They won, like, Winners League all the time because of Flash. Like, it's not fair. Pro League, they struggle a little bit more. Like, their Zergs definitely struggled, but Action has shown in the post-Pro League era that Action's hard work in the Pro League era when he was doing okay definitely paid off. Now, we are going to have our first engagement here. 2 ZeLoTs against 1, but with 2 Dragoons on the other side. Looks like he is going to try and pull back here. Does lose his ZeLoT, so it makes it a little bit harder to micro this, but he is doing a pretty good job microing back here. Sandara, Ray pushing forward here, trying to get on top of these Dragoons. And while this is going on, looks like we are going to have the Dragoon focus fired down here. Doesn't quite get it, but does figure it out now. You know, he just needs to make sure he micros well against the ZeLoTs. Doesn't want to take any hull damage if he can. But it's without a doubt, I can say SKT are the best KT, and it doesn't matter what the results say, I don't care, because SKT were always the cooler team. They started off with Boxer, they had Uv, like one of the greatest players who's ever lived, and then they had Fantasy, and you know what, you can prove anything with facts, okay? But, like, I don't know, SKT, they're the best. The SKT Terran lineage is just the absolute best. I know you've got Sack, Sorry, and JYJ all doing really well. Like, I'm so happy. They're carrying on, like, the SKT Terran tradition, and Midas and Kanata as well. I always forget about Midas, and I shouldn't forget about Kanata, because everyone used to hate him because he used to play boring. But honestly, like, his TVT, okay, he played it slow. Name another Terran who could build that many turrets and get away with it. Like, Flash does it. But Flash, like, I don't know, Flash plays like a robot, man. Flash, like, he's good, I like watching Flash, but I would sooner have Kanata back than watch Flash. Like, when Kanata was streaming on Afrika, I watched every single time because it was really fun. And then he stopped, and now I'm sad. Okay, so we do have the first shuttle coming out here for Sandara. He is going for ReV here. Both players going for ReV, of course. Looks like Ray has gone for his ReV before the shuttle and gone for a quicker expansion. Now it'll be interesting to see if Ray can defend properly against the shuttle here, because it can be quite difficult on this map, given this weird kind of map architecture, to sort of move your Dragoons up and down between the 2 bases, but shouldn't be too difficult. Here we go. Looks like he's going to pick up. Now, a lot of players don't randomly fly in, like in PvT, with a ReV and a shuttle to try and kill probes, and this is kind of later on. So we should see him try and go for a push here. Now, Sandara, of course, does have a lot of Dragoons. He did win the early engagement, so defensive-wise, MasterRey is not looking to be in the best position. Now, just to go back to my KT and SKT discussion, so the Terrans were really good. And then you look at their Protoss, like you started with Kingdom, then you had Best, Bisu, Afrotoss. Just trying to think of the other ones. I can't think of any other ones. But they were like the 3 or 4 main ones. Like Aphrotos kind of, I wouldn't really class him as one of the 4 mainstays, but like best Bisu and Kingdom, man, like you don't need a better better set of 3 players. Okay, you can say about SKT Zergs, but they weren't that bad. S2, you had July Zerg for a little bit. He's not really counted in SKT Zerg though, because that was like after he came back from the army, but S2 was good. SouL was getting good. Like, SouL was getting really good. If Broodrod had continued and like StarCraft 2 didn't come out, he would have been good. But here we go, looks like we are going to have our first engagement here. Reaver's dropping off for, what's his name, Sandara, I forgot who blue was. Looks like the Reaver's getting a good amount of damage on both sides here. No damage done so far to the probe line. Reavers against Reavers. Very weird to see. It looks like both, I don't think Ray actually had a shuttle, but does kill one of the Reavers here, so doing pretty good. Shuttle finally coming out, so good job that he went for the 2 Reavers first of all. But looks like he is going to be able to hold on, but the expansion has taken a lot of damage here. The shuttle getting really low. Oh no. Oh, that's not good. Looks like Sandara is starting to push forward. We've got still a supply lead for Ray though. So if, oh my god, Ray just needs to target fire the right unit. If he can target fire the right Dragoon, he can hold on here. And he's actually going to be in a pretty good spot. He's up in probes, he's up in expansion, but the supply is exactly the same now. Okay, so with the supply the same, it's going to come down to macro to see who can recover from that engagement faster. And yeah, I used to really like Up Magic as well. I was really sad when he was one of the people who match fixed. Because Up Magic was always really fun to watch. I think Up Magic may have been my favorite Terran outside of Fantasy, to be honest. And I like Lita as well. Well, Kanata was my second favorite Terran, but outside of the SKT Terrans, it was Up Magic. Gogo was always quite fun to watch as well. Okay, it looks like we are going to have Ray taking down the Observer of Sandara. That's going to limit the information that Sandara has over him, which is pretty good. We can already see that Ray using the advantage of his expansion to go up to 4 gateways already against the 2 so far for Sandara. He's going to add 2 more himself, but that's going to allow Ray to basically regrow, rebuild a lot faster. So that's pretty good. Yeah, Hwasun was cool as well. I really hate the fact the match-fixing scandal happened. I understand why they had to punish the players, but I feel really bad that they did, because I think a lot of them were tricked into it, or they were maybe forced into it. I don't know. I feel there could have been a better way to deal with that, rather than just outright banning them forever and removing their records from history. Because technically, by removing Savior's results from the databases and everything, because obviously he was banned, you're essentially saying that Bisu's revolution never happened. Because technically, he never played and beat Savior because the game never happened, right? I don't know. People say I'm a Savior apologist, but I just feel like they went overboard with, punishing them. Match fixing in other sports is taken seriously, but usually there's a big fine, and then eventually the players come back and play or something. It's weird, but either way, looks like we are going to have another engagement here. Looks like Reaver's dropping off at the front, but nice pickup. But 2 Reavers at the back, definitely going to be doing a lot of damage here, but Ray is definitely in a really good spot here. Gets another one of those Reavers. Gets the shuttle as well, and Ray is using his macro here to push back and doing a really good job about it as well. He's going to get his way into the natural. The Reaver does not have a shuttle anymore, so he maybe should pull back because he needs this Reaver to win the engagement. It's definitely a weird situation for a PvP, but that's what happens sometimes. The Reaver not firing Another really normal position to be in PvP, but it's only on 20 health essentially, so it does need to be careful. Like, you don't want to throw the game away. You've got a good engagement. That isn't the time to go and throw every unit you have at the enemy. You have to rebuild. You come back a little bit later, and you win later on, but there are some Reaver Scarabs going to start to hit. Looks like he should be able to break the natural here, and that could be the end of the game. Ray starting off this series really well, and unfortunately it looks like Sandara could be getting his ass kicked again by Castamuse. And I'm surprised he's got an ass left to kick, because it looks like Ray is going to win this game. And he has done a very good job of it. But there is a Reaver come out, but it does go down immediately. Reavers for both sides have died. It is 6 Dragoons against 7. No, against 6, I can't count. So 6 against 6. Now it's 6 against 4. The Sandara holds on, but he loses his Nexus. I'm seeing in chat that Child Protective Services need to be called for Sandara because Castamuse has beaten him constantly. Oh my goodness. You know what? Like, I trust that Castamuse is a good person and he's not violent. But could you imagine if he was actually serious and he has actually been beating Sandara every time he lost? I would feel so bad if that was actually happening and I was making a joke out of it. Now, I believe Castamuse is a really good person and he would not do that and he is joking. But just in case he is serious, I am sorry for making any jokes in advance. Oh my god, that would actually be the worst. I don't even want to think about what would happen if that came out that Castamuse was actually beating Sandara up. That would be weird. Oh, that would be like me cursing people again. Like, every person I get involved with ends up in a big scandal somehow. And it's not my fault. But there we go. Okay, so we've got a lot of gateways over here for Ray. Looks like he's got an observer checking for any hidden bases as well. We've even got a High Templar here. He's going to try and get in before the Nexus is really up and running again. And if he can, this is essentially going to be game over. But Sandara has a lot of units, so I'm not really sure I agree with this push by Ray. He can actually throw the game away. That's a nice storm, though. Very nice storm. Yeah, PvP is one of those weird matchups where, kind of like TvT, you can get in a good position, and then because Defender's advantage is so good, you can go and lose the game. Now he storms the Reaver. That's actually a very good choice. The Reaver isn't going to be running out of that. Like, he's got a supply lead. He's got a really nice supply lead, but there's a big buffer for Sandara. Now it looks like Ray wants to go around the side and maybe come in from below. But I guess maybe he's choosing against that. We do have a lot of High Templar here, though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gateways only for Sandara. He's down to 1 mining base, essentially. This is as many probes you can possibly get on 1. He does have access to a mineral only, but mineral only isn't going to really help him against the mass storm that he's going to be facing. And it looks like Ray is going to get ready to take his 4th base, as he already took the mineral only just a little bit ago. So Ray up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 gateways. He's ahead in upgrades as well. I think there's actually 2-2 coming in. No, it's 1-1. So I thought he'd already got some upgrades, but apparently not. And it's time to head into a little bit of a lull in the game. Both players just kind of powering up the best they can. Sandara knows he's unable to expand for the moment, at least to this base. And he is just going to sit back and try and defend, hoping that Ray goes into his base here. Now Sandara going to hide a base down here in the bottom left. If he can survive long enough to make that base operational, maybe he can make something happen here, but it's going to be rough. Of course, Ray is mining out this main as well. Looks like we are going to have an engagement. A lot of Ray's units are actually a little bit further away. Oh, but those storms are so good. They're on top of the whole army. This is so much storm damage. Oh my goodness, the army melts into so much blue goo. And that is going to be the end of the game. GG. Sandara taps out and Ray wins game number 1. And we'll be back with game number 2 after this short break.
Start your engine. 3, 2, 1, go! Welcome.
Thanks for the $5 donation. Ban the doodle. Thank you. Okay guys, welcome back. We're going to be heading into game number 2 here. It's DM versus Rev, DM versus Red even. Ray took a win over Sandara in game number 1. Is rOuta going to take down Bonbom here? Let's find out. It's game number 2, it's on Paradise, and it's another PvP. Okay, starting us off here in the top left-hand position, we do have in the magenta fighting for red. It's rOuta. From Finland, of course. A proud Karelian. Is our rOuta up here. And his opponent from Peru, his flag is wrong in the database, I need to update that after the game. It's Bonbom fighting for DM in the orange. I think when I added him to the database, I assumed he was from Chile, because a lot of DM are, and I got it wrong. It happens. It happens. I'm not perfect. If you've not seen the STPL before, I'm a one-man band. I do everything by myself, apart from the Wikipedia stuff. So other people do that for me, and I am very, very happy and glad that those people exist, because you guys are all awesome. By the way, I don't think I called MasterRey LML once in that game. If someone can confirm, I would be very happy. I think I got away with it. I think I finally managed to do it because LML wasn't in chat. LML was not in chat, so it did not confuse me. There we go. Oh, Ryan Metal says he confirms. Sweet. I'm learning. I'm learning. Me fail English? That's impossible. Oh, I love that. I love that. I love Ralph. Ralph in The Simpsons is so funny. Okay, so we've got a 2-gate coming in from Bonbom. rOuta also going for a 2-gate. This is before either player have scouted each other. They're just scouting each other in the middle of the map now. So both players going to play aggressive here, and that could mean we'll have a very quick PvP. But if neither player can win and it's very close, and they both do damage to each other, this could be one of the longest PvPs we've ever had in the STPL, because games where both players play aggressive and it doesn't work usually go on the longest. Usually if one player plays aggressive and one player plays defensive, the other player or the defending player gets such a massive advantage if they defend that the game usually ends a little like in the mid-game. Whereas if both players are aggressive and neither player can really either do any damage or they both do incredible amounts of damage to each other, it kind of sets both players back a lot. So we'll have to see how that's going to go. I'm obviously sort of reading into the future before it's actually happened, so we never know what's going on until it happens in the STPL, so we'll have to keep an eye out. Core coming in for both players. They've both seen that they've both got 2 gateways, so neither player... Well, okay, so rOuta is going up to 3 zealots, whereas Bonbom did stop on the... Oh no, he got 3 as well. But they're going to be going into Dragoons behind this. Gas was up a little bit quicker for rOuta, so he's going to be able to go in to his Dragoons a little bit quicker. He actually goes up to a 4th Zealot, so not quite giving up on the Zealots yet. Obviously going for the Zealot allows your minerals to build up and your gas as well, so you can go for 2 Dragoons at the same time. We should see those both come in just a second. I can never remember how much gas a Dragoon is, so rOutas either say that, yeah, there we go, so 1, 2. He actually got them a little bit late, I think, but there we go. Not a big deal. Probe getting into the main, still scouting out everything, looks like it does go down. Probe for Bonbom is still alive though, so rOuta is going to have to clean that up if he can. The probe can actually get away from here as well, so it's not like the probe is in the best position, but looks like rOuta might want to go. Okay, so he is going to go for a scout. I thought maybe he was going to go for a nexus, and that would be a very interesting choice when you're on 2 gateways, but it looks like he is going to get the probe eventually. Now, do either player go for a Citadel, or do they both go for Robo? Looks like we're getting Bonbom getting ready to put Summon down. Nope, never mind. He's not going to go for any tech at all. He's just going to kind of wait. Bonbom gets his probe out as well. 1 hit away from death. How is this Dragoon not just firing? There we go. Does go down. Now, the second probe does get counted as well. Pylon. Now, where is the tech? The tech is bound to be coming here with one of these probes, unless that's just the... No, that just must be the rally point, okay. We have a ZeLoT over here just scouting out, seeing if he can see anything, but neither player really choosing to go for much. Now, rOuta is actually going for a 3-gate. No Observer, so no Robo yet, so we're not going to see 3-gate obs, at least for the time being. But there's still no tech choice, or 3rd gateway for Bonbon in the bottom right, so his money is going up. And oh, here we go, we have a Forge coming in. Okay, Bonbon is playing this weird. So Bonbon can use the Forge to obviously defend against DTs, and we can see the cannon going to be coming up at the front as well. But he's got no evidence of DTs right now. And he needs to pick his own path. Like, if you set yourself behind in tech, in PvP, you can be in a lot of trouble. Now, the fact he's against the 3 gates with no tech means these cannons are actually going to help him out quite a lot, but he's not going to go for a cannon until after he's already built the Nexus, surely. Oh, he does. Okay, so he's going for 1 cannon first. Probe is going to see the number of units, so should be able to guess the number of gateways here. But is he going to be able to hold on? Like, if anything, I wouldn't mind seeing him build another 2 cannons and then the Nexus, just to be safe. But rOuta definitely in a good position so far. But it still feels like Bonbon has more units somehow. I don't understand PvP. Okay, so it looks like we are going to have our first engagement here. More ZeLoTs, at least for rOuta here. The cannon's going to finish, which is going to help out a lot. So rOuta's not going to be able to bust this now. He doesn't have enough units. He's got 3 more Dragoons coming in. Maybe he can out micro, and that looks like what he wants to do. But we're obviously going to have Bonbom full back to his cannon. Nice target firing so far by rOuta, getting a lot of kills. And is he going to bust here? It's 4 Dragoons against 4. 3 versus 3. A 4th one comes out. And that's the end of rOuta's push. He's not going to be able to get any damage done now. And he's actually down in supply. He's down by 7... No. I can't count. He's down by 10 supply. 10 supply he's down. And that's nearly 15 probes down as well. So... That's rough. That is a very rough position to come back from. And he's still going all in. Like, he's got no additional tech. Okay, so he's now building the Robo, so I'm lying. But he kind of has to do damage because he knows his opponent is on 2 bases. Like, he has to be able to break him. He's not going to be able to come back if he just sits back at home. Now, of course, with the supply advantage in workers, rOuta does have the supply advantage in army, even though I'm not sure where it is, because we've got 7 Dragoons here, we've got 9 Dragoons here, but now there's 8 Dragoons, so I don't know. It seems really, really weird. Somehow, like, rOuta has a lot of supply in Dragoons that just aren't with his army yet. I guess they're still running across the map. Now rOuta looks like he knows he can't bust, so he is going to try and expand to come back in this. He leaves a Dragoon at the front, see if a counterattack is going to be coming. Very standard play by him, very good play by him as well. But I'm wondering how he's going to do this. So he is going to go into a Citadel, he's going to go into Templar Archives. Now, I know that Red actually play a lot of practice games together, and given the fact Red are mostly Protoss, they get a lot of PvP practice. I wonder if rOuta is going to play this like Ray. Yeah, he is. It looks like he's going to go into his own his own Templar. Now, does he go straight for Storm, or is he going to go for DT and go for a DT drop here? DT drop, very powerful in PvP. Both players actually going for Templar Archives, but the one for Bonbom is much later. He's going for ZeLoT legs first. Now, rOuta, unfortunately, is going to be pushing with his probe a little bit too far down to the bottom, so he's going to miss the army coming out. Does Bonbom just have enough here to break? I don't think he does, but he's got such a big army. rOuta is actually going to fall back to his main. I don't think rOuta can come back from this. If you get yourself contained on one base in PvP, how are you ever going to be able to win? Looks like he is going to get the better engagement on the low ground. But there's more and more units flooding in. Bonbom, I think, has just done it. He's just got way more units here than rOuta does, even though rOuta has the defender's advantage. I think it's game over. ZeLoTs have come out. They're not really going to help at all. There is a DT. The DT can technically kill all of these Dragoons. It's going to take a very long time, though. And in that, the shuttle going to be taken down, and that is not something rOuta was hoping was going to happen. Back at home, we're going to have a cannon as well, so the DTs can't actually get into the main base. And rOuta is kind of trying to hold on. He's at less than half the supply now, and I think this is game over. Unfortunately, rOuta had a good plan, but it didn't quite work out. His opponent went for a cannon, and that made things a lot harder. There is another DT here. If he can get another shuttle out, maybe he can go for a DT drop and win the game, but there's already cannons in the main. He's overbuilding cannons because he knows the only way he can lose this game is if all of his probes die, and that is exactly what he's not going to let happen. There's not an observer up here still, so he can't actually get into the base, and as I say that, he runs in anyway because the DT was not in the right position. The Dragoon over here with 7 kills. DT not able to kill it until now. rOuta is down to 9 probes against 49, 19 supply against 84, and this is going to be it. This is going to be the end of the game. Like, rOuta cannot hold on. He's gone for a hidden third base, but he can't even afford probes at it. I guess it's not even a third either, it's a natural. Yeah, rOuta is going to hold in. He's going to try and use his DTs to win the game. He's going to go for a shuttle most likely, but he can't actually afford it right now. And he is eventually going to tap out this game, I think. He's going to push forward, maybe try and soak with his ZeLoTs to get his DT into the main, but I don't think it matters. He's up against 4 gateways. He's down 70 supply. GG. rOuta taps out. Bonbom wins the game and ties the series up 1-1. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Okay guys, welcome back. We're going to be going into game number 3 of this series. The score's tied up 1-1. It's Cryoc versus Whip. It's going to be on Neo Moon Glaive, which is one of my favorite TVT maps of all time. We've only had one TBT here so far, and that was all the way back at the very start of STPL Season 1. That was in 2018, in April 29th. And overall, it's a really, really fun map for TBT. I'm hoping we get a nice long one here, because this map splits very, very nicely. But let's find out as we get in to game number 3. Okay, starting us off here in the bottom left-hand corner, we do have the Peach, Terran, fighting for red. From Germany, it's Cryoc. And his opponent in the green, starting us off here at the 12 o'clock location, it's Whip, fighting for DM from Canada. Now, TBT is one of those matchups that I know a lot of people don't like, but it's a very, very fun matchup. There's lots of very fun ways you can play it as well. Now, we've not had a long TBT here. I've not had a long TBT in ages. I think the last long TBT we had was in Season 3, and it was on Blitz X, so that was a while ago. Wait, was that Season 3 or was that Season 2? I know we had a really good one with Kogut versus Marwin, I think it was. That was on New Tornado, but I think that was Season 2. It's been so long since Season 3, I forgot what maps I used. That's, I don't know if that's worrying or what, but I don't know. We've been streaming for about 101 minutes so far. We've got through the series pretty quickly today, but we still have a Blindside game coming up, and Blindside, that's one of the longer maps. Like, we get a lot of long games on Blindside, especially in PvZ as well, which we're about to go into, so you never know, we could have 2-hour-long games coming. We could be casting still at midnight GMT, you never know. Barracks coming up for both players, very, very standard, of course, in TBT to build them as far out of your base as you can safely, so you can lift them up and go for a quicker scout. Now gas coming up for both players as well, so mirror builds essentially. Okay, so both players going into their factory after the second depot. Exactly mirror builds here. The timing is almost exactly the same as well. Looks like Cryoc got his gas up a little bit more before he pulled out, whereas Whip has actually pulled out a little bit sooner. So Cryoc's going to have a little bit of a gas advantage the further we go in, but both players are going to be going for an expansion behind this. Now Whip has only gone for a single marine before lifting his barracks, whereas Cryoc has gone for 2. Now whether Cryoc goes for a third or not is going to be interesting, but he has seen his opponent's barracks is lifted, but he should really lift his own now and just go for it. But it looks like he's going to hold on for a little bit. We've actually got a... Cryoc is going for a 2-fact, okay. He faked an expansion, and he's going for a quick 2-factory. That is not something you see very often in TBT anymore. Now, Cryoc is going to see the fact that Whip is going for an expansion on location, and he is going to be feeling pretty good about this. Now, the other problem we have is Whip only went for 1 marine. If you have 3 marines in a bunker, 2-factory isn't that good. But when you've only got 1 marine, you could be in a lot of trouble. And, I mean, Whip is going to be scouting with his barracks, but he doesn't technically know where his opponent is yet. Wait, did he scout with his SCV? I don't remember. My brain is turning to mush. Like, what the hell? But looks like Whip, obviously with his 1 factory, is going to need a bunker. Like, he has to get a bunker. But he's sending his marine in an offensive posture. This could be a quick TBT, I'm not going to lie. I don't like to call games before they're over, but Whip has pushed all of his units forward against 2-factory. And when you do that, you're going to be in a lot of trouble because we've got double Vulture upgrades. They're going to finish it around the same time because speed takes a lot longer to research than mines. And how is he going to hold on to his natural with no bunker? What you can do is you can technically build like an engineering bay here to wall off, and then just kind of hope that the vultures get stuck while you're defending a ramp. But he's going to be in a lot of trouble. The first two vultures are already on their way across the map. We've got a third vulture at the back as well. Finally, Whip is going to see the fact that it's a 2-fact here, and let's see how he's going to react to this. He's got the bunker coming up. He does have the marine alive. His SCVs have been pulled because he knows he has to defend the best he possibly can. If he can hold on for long enough, he is going to be at a massive advantage. But Cryoc, at least for the time... Oh, he needs to repair his vulture. He needs to get back and repair his vulture, like, right now. And looks like he's going to. But as long as you can hold on to your natural here as Whip, you're actually probably going to win the game. Cryoc, of course, is going to get map control. Whip is going to be stuck in his base for a while, so Cryoc is going to be able to expand behind this if he wants to. But I definitely give the advantage to Cryoc at the moment. He's still in such a good position. But going for a tank after 2 vultures may have just saved him, because he's going into Goliaths behind this as well. Goliaths allow you to push against mines a lot easier because they shoot as soon as the mines appear, so they get more damage done on them. And Cryoc, I don't think is going to be able to do any damage anymore. I think Whip has actually done a really good job, and look at this. Cryoc going into his own tanks, and he's going into his expansion. Cadenzi asks, when should you get Cloak Ghosts in TBT? All the time, as fast as possible. Although honestly, Cloak Ghosts aren't as good as just normal ghosts using Lockdown. Cadenzi saying, sorry my English is new. Oh my goodness. Cadenzi's at it again. Lying again. Scottish native trying to say that her English isn't any good. Not impressed. Okay, oh, this isn't good. Okay, Whip may have got a little bit overeager here and pushed too far forward. And now there is a tank on his gas. The units are coming back to try and defend this, but it is a siege tank. You can see the mines ringing up a lot of hits, but okay, so 3 tanks should be enough to kill this. Yeah, there we go. He holds on. Cryoc does nearly even up the supply count on workers, though. The supply count is actually dead even now, apart from those 2 workers. But now Whip is going to be the one going for a push. And there's no mines in the way. Cadenzi asking, how do the mines know if units are friendly or not? Honestly, that is probably one of the easiest to explain questions ever. Terran units probably have some kind of microchip in them that the mines sense if they're friendly units. That would be my guess. I don't think it's actually explained in the lore, but nice supply depot here by Whip as well. Gonna block any vultures from being able to get in. Now Whip isn't going to push the envelope, he's not going to push. He is just going to sit back and defend. And that is what we want to see if we want a nice long TBT. Now what's going on back at Cryoc's base? He's going up to 4 factories. Both the players are quite close in supply. Barracks is being added on because he lost his barracks early on. He is only on 3 factories right now. We've got a dropship coming in though, and that's going to help out just a little bit. You can actually elevate her into the main. You can kind of siege up here, elevate her into the main, or you can even siege up here and elevate her into the main as well. And it can be very, very annoying to deal with. But the Vulture, not able to do anything. Cryoc going to lose his barracks here. And Whip still, I would say, in a commanding position in this game. Now Cadenzi's trying to troll me by saying how do mines detect mind control and know to set off. It's just magic, okay? No one knows, it's just like magnets. But it looks like Whip is going to get ready to elevate into the main. I thought this is what he was going to do. Now Cryoc is in a perfect defensive posture as if his opponent attacks through the middle of the map. But if his opponent drops into his main, he has absolutely nothing back at home. He's going to have 2 tanks, which could be in a good spot, but the elevator comes in, tanks sieging up at the back. Tank sieging in the main. Now Whip doesn't have vision over the gas, but Cryoc does not have vision over this either. And Cryoc's final units are moving out into the middle. And I think this is probably going to be a whip victory here. Oh, this is so annoying for poor Cryoc to deal with. There we go, GG. Cryoc doesn't even try. Like, he could defend that, but he doesn't even try. He GG's out. Whip wins game number 3, gives DM the 2-1 lead. And that's going to take us into game number 4 when we get back after this short break.
Select your trigger hard. Emergency. The target is approaching.
Okay, starting us off here in our 4th game in the 12 o'clock location, we do have Dai fighting for DM from South Korea. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom middle, fighting for red. It's their... No, he's not their captain, that's FakeFin. It's LML. I keep saying LML is... Okay, so there's 2 things I keep getting wrong with Rev, or Red even. One of them is the fact that LML is MasterRey when they're different people. And the other one is that LML is the captain when he isn't. It's FakeFin. I am really bad at this. Like, it's tough. But luckily enough, I have my database with all my information in which I can tell you that the average game duration on this for ZvP is 15 minutes. We've had some longer games than that though. We've had a 30-minute game between Zero and Tech here. It's tied up 3-3. LML on this map has, well, LML hasn't actually played this map so far, but DY has, or Dai has won his one game here. Dai actually played as EVZ here though, so it doesn't really count. That's how we go. Now we've got an overpull coming in for Dai. Perfect start to hopefully a nice long macro ZvP. It looks like we're going to have a gateway first coming in from LML. I kind of expect that from him now. You see MasterRey more go for Forge Fast Expands, whereas LML definitely seems to favor going for earlier Forge. Sorry, earlier gateway. Okay, well, ZvP, the start of it is a little bit slower than I'd say pretty much all of the other matchups. So one thing I will say is it's very important to note that, of course, if LML cannot win this game, Red will be losing the series, which is pretty good. The other thing is, it's the weekend, so I am very, very glad because it means I'm going to get to chill out this weekend. I've got nothing planned. Last week I had some, last week I basically had some stuff that I had to get done, and then, well, I was casting last weekend, which, it's weird. I enjoy casting, I really enjoy casting, but it is quite tiring, and I don't want to do it on the weekend, because on the week, like, casting for me is kind of like my second job in the evenings. Like, as much as I enjoy it, it kind of does feel like work because I'm on a schedule doing it and stuff. And I still enjoy it, it's still fun, but the weekend I just like to do nothing. I just like to be able to chill, watch like whatever, play games, you know? Just do cool stuff. Casting is cool as well, but it does take a lot of energy. I have to think a lot when I'm casting, which is why it's tough to do it on the weekend. Especially because last week I casted on Sunday morning. And, yeah, it didn't work out very well because I was somewhat hungover. But apparently the cast wasn't too bad because no one complained. But it was definitely an interesting time for me to try and cast, so I'm not going to do that again. It was like a drinking event on VR chat that I went to on Saturday with all like the Japanese friends that I've made, and everyone got drunk together. It was quite fun. And we've got 3 hatcheries coming in for Dai. I still don't know whether to call him Dai or DY, because it's technically TY rather than Tai. Although I don't know whether or not it is Tai and people say TY and they're wrong. It's so hard to tell. But Lings did come out, they couldn't do anything. Thank you, Herbmon, for the host. Oh, raid even. Of 8 people. Glad to see you've been streaming again, man. Hopefully you're doing all okay. Okay, so third hatchery coming in. Oh, yeah, third hatchery is almost finished. No Hydra Den just yet. And no lair either, so it does make me wonder if DY is going to go for 4 and 5 hatches before lair or before Hydra Den. That would be kind of risky, but there's not really too much that LML could do to attack at the moment. Core coming up back at home. +1 was never actually started, so these ZeLoTs aren't going to be as strong as maybe they could be. Now, is this +1 late, or am I imagining things? He's had a lot of excess gas for a while, so I get the feeling that was quite late. He's going to be able to build a Stargate as soon as the core finishes, which is good. But I definitely think favouring a quicker +1 is maybe a little bit better, especially when the risk of having your wall broken down by Hydras is so high on this map. There's like a very big open area that Hydras can come in for, and the cannons are usually quite far back, so it makes your wall a little bit more vulnerable. Now, it looks like LML has misclicked his probes as well. Oh no, he's just got them ready to kind of block against any Zerglings that might still be out. Now this is of course week 6 of the STPL Season 4. We have 3 more weeks of group stage coming up. We've got week 7, week 8 and week 9. Week 7 looks like it's going to be quite exciting. We've got Psy versus Net Wars, Naz versus IRK, ReV versus Wico, Red versus SouL, and Ash versus DM. I'm definitely looking forward to Naz versus IRK, I think, the most. And then in February, we'll be heading, so week 9 is on the 7th of February, and then we'll have the cast the following week. And then we'll start the playoffs on the 21st. So the teams will get like a couple of weeks break to get themselves ready. I'll get time to make a few graphics up for the playoffs and everything. And then we'll be finishing the season around the 21st. So 21st of March, that is. So we've not got long left of this season. We're not doing too bad. If you want to help out, contributing to the prize pool and supporting our wonderful sponsors MasterRey, please head on over to the MasterRey link, use the code STPL S4 to add 50 cents to the prize pool completely free, and of course you have the option of adding some money yourself there as well if you choose to. It looks like ZeLoT's tried to come in there, nice pull away by Dai, nice sunken positioning as well. Going to be very difficult to actually attack that with ZeLoTs because you can drone drill on top of it, nicely done. LML's Courier, his Corsair going to get into the base, see everything it needs to see. Yeah, it looks like Dai really on top of his drone movement here at the third base. I kind of thought he'd at least lose one drone, but he is not losing any drones today. We've got the 5th hatchery coming up here. No, 6th hatchery actually. So 6 hatches already. Hydra upgrades are on the way. I know this is going to be a pretty good moment. Oh, there is a Hydra there. Okay, the one Hydra is saving about 3 Overlords. The MasterRey link is just above, but I will copy paste it for you. The code is STPL S4. You know what, I'm just going to do this again. There we go. There's the updated link, and there is the code. The goal prize pool we're going towards is $2,000 again. Our wonderful sponsors, Esport Fund, have given us $1,000 towards that goal. And essentially, if we can make $3,000, I will free the doodle. So Red will be happy. I'm kind of not expecting to make it at $3,000, but if we do, that will be $1,000 towards next season as well. So that's what I'm kind of aiming for if we can. Now we've got Storm coming in for LML already, going up to 5 gateways fairly quickly, not too fast of course. We've got a lot of ZeLoTs out here. +1 is done, speed is done as well, so it looks like he wants to try and come in to the natural. There's not that much defending here, so this is a very good timing. The Corsair's coming in at the same time. He's going to try and go for some of these Overlords that he damaged earlier. Gets one of them, gets the second. There's a lot of damage being dealt here by LML. The Sunken not helping out too much here, and all of a sudden the drones are going to be under fire. One of the drones has gone down already. Looks like he could lose a couple more. Another Sunken finishes though. Maybe should have targeted that a little bit sooner, but the Corsair with a bunch of kills already. 2 ZeLoTs getting into the main base as well. 6 kills between them. And DY is in a lot of trouble here. The Corsair does go down, which is a little bit unfortunate, but more ZeLoTs coming into the third base. This time should be handled again as well. But that's much better SimCity, much better defense there on that third. Now LML takes a pretty big supply lead after that. He takes an 8 drone or an 8 probe advantage. But Dai has 6 he has 6 hatcheries, so he should be able to build them pretty quickly. Now the real power will be the follow-up attack from LML. That is one of the things that's quite hard to understand with RTS games. It's not necessarily the damage you take right now that kills you. It's the damage that you take right now that cripples you enough that the follow-up damage is what kills you. And there's a lot of people that kind of don't really play RTS as much, but that's kind of where it comes into it. Like, it's not like StarCraft 2 is kind of like, if you take damage, you die. That's just it. It got a little bit better with Legacy of the Void as far as I'm aware, but it's still just one engagement and the game's over. Now, Dai has a chance of, he's still in this game, like he's not super far behind or anything, but these Storms are going to be worth their weight in gold. He's got 4 of these High Templar here. Let's see what the Storms are going to be like. Oh my god, he doesn't have vision over the Hydras. They were some nice first 2 Storms. If you don't know this map, these are actually vision blockers, so it makes it harder. Nice! Oh my god, that Storm. That is so much damage. Oh my goodness, that's so many dead Hydras. Okay, only 5 Hydras remain throughout that, from that engagement even. We've got, I don't know how many ZeLoTs this is, I can't count. 8 ZeLoTs and an Archon. against like 5 or 6 Hydras right now. The Hydra's going for a counter, but the third base is already well defended. Shouldn't need to worry about that too much. Now, LML, of course, doesn't have any vision here, whereas the Overlord with speed is going to give him vision over the forest, so he's going to have to fall back. There is a lot of Hydras coming his way. This is a lot of Hydras, so this is a counter coming in from DY. This is how he's planning to come back into the game. Will this work, is the question that we all need to ask ourselves. Actually killing the Kakaru. Not something you see every day, but maybe wants to make sure he doesn't accidentally target fire it a little bit later on. Now, usually there is like a curse with critters if you... Oh my god, that storm. Yeah, there's usually a curse with critters that if you attack and kill a critter, it'll usually lose you the game, but that's usually the Ursidon, so maybe the Kakaru doesn't quite have that same power. Anyone who remembers back to like the TSL 2 days will remember that that's where like the Panda Bear guy meme spawned for Tastosis, and they still have to put up with it even now when it's been like 13 years or something. No, it's been like... TSL 2 has been like maybe 11 years? Was it 2009? Or was it 2010? I know it wasn't super late into when I got into Brood War, so... And TSL 3 was obviously StarCraft 2. I still can't believe they won't do another TSL. They're missing out on free money, man. Well, it's not... I guess it's not free money, but... Like, if they did TSL... whatever number we're at, like a Brood War TSL 3... They would probably... I guess they would have to pay Tastosis to cast it. And I guess that's where their money goes, because... like, paying professional casters is not cheap. There is a damn good reason why Tastosis and or why Tastosis, like... cast basically ASL and GSL, and they earn enough to make a living. Their fee must be pretty good, because, like, if you think about it, like, they stream as well, which obviously helps their income, but they're not actually casting that often. Like, they're starting to branch out into other games as well, like they're casting PUBG soon, I think. I don't know if it's like a full-time thing or maybe just a one thing, but there we go. Nice engagement by LML once again. DY losing a lot of Hydras. And yeah, they didn't actually start streaming until recently. Like, Tasteless only started streaming last year. Artosis started streaming a couple of years ago, I think. Okay, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 gateways. Still no additional tech, no robo. So the robo is here, but there's no observers just yet. Oh, looks like an overlord gonna get caught off guard there. Okay, Dai's got a good number of lurkers here. This is going to make it a little bit easier for him to defend this push, but LML is definitely going to have to be careful pushing up this ramp. Essentially, you never want to be pushing up a ramp against lurkers if you can avoid it. Looks like the, unfortunately, the High Templar is going to die here. Oh no, he's actually going to save it. How the hell did he save that? Now, look, I'm going to zoom out a little bit more because I thought he was going to go around. Yes, it looks like he's going to go around here. So we'll have to see if that's going to play out now. So he's not going to go around. Let's zoom back in. We've got a lot of units here. 1-1 is done for our Protoss player here. He's going for 1-2. So once again, we're seeing second armor before second attack. Second armor before second attack has been quite common recently, and I'm really not sure who started it. I think it may have been Best. It's either Best or Snow, I think. But there must be a benefit to it. I guess it does help against lurkers, and that's what really starts to cause problems for Protoss early on. Yeah, look at this, 1-2. Oh, looks like we've got a... Oh my god, this is a 3DT drop. Oh, DY is going to be in so much trouble. Does he even have an Overlord over here? He doesn't have an Overlord in his main. He's only dropping one of the Dark Templars, though. Wait, he's dropped two, but he dropped one... Why did he drop one up here? Okay, let's keep an eye on the kills on that. Looks like we do have Dai trying to... He's trying to move into a position, but he's not defending. He doesn't know about it yet. He's finally pulled his drones. But LML is getting a ton of damage here. 7 kills already. 8. There's still no Overlord over here. Overlord finally starting to come back, but is this maybe too late? Looks like Dai wanted to go for a counter, doesn't do any damage, gets a storm for his troubles. The DT is still alive in the base, and there's still two DTs over there. Oh my god, okay, so he does find it. LML's units are kind of out here in the middle of nowhere, which is kind of not something we see every day. But this 2DT thing is really weird. Like, usually you would just see Protoss just drop all 3 in. The fact he's hiding, like, holding 2 back. Okay, I want to... are they building buildings? Yeah, okay, they're building buildings. It's not a bugged replay. I thought maybe a desynced or something. Yeah, looks like he's going to go back in now. And this is actually clever. I didn't think about this, but if you just go straight back in with another DT, the Overlord's gone. Like, the Overlord is down here. You can get another few drone kills up here for sure. Now we have no we do have a 4th base, sorry, for Dai. It is at mineral only, so no 4th gas just yet. LML is on his 4th base as well. This is a 4th gas, so he's going to be in a good position economically. Now, I would say that LML at this stage in the game is at an advantage. Now, there's a lot of Dai lurkers everywhere, so it's going to be very difficult for LML to push into this. But Dai can't really push into LML either, so I think we're going to go into long game here. And look at this. Oh my god, the DT killed 6 drones. He's going to get the spawning pool. If he gets the spawning pool before Hive is done, that is an incredible timing to hit, because it's going to delay crack. And cracklings are so powerful. Oh, is he going to get it? It's going to be a few hits away. It looks like he's going to stop to attack some of the... Oh, I think he should just kill the... Yeah, he should just kill the spawning pool. He's trying to kill some of the units here, but that's actually going to end up getting him killed. Oh, just kill the spawning pool. No! The DT gets confused. Looks like he's a little bit busy moving his army over here in the bottom right-hand corner. Crackling Adrenaline upgrade will be coming in at the normal time, but there is still another DT. He could still go back in again, but it looks like he's not going to make the same mistake again. Lots of Overlords here this time. A Dark Archon coming in. This is what we like to see. My favorite units in the entire game are Dark Archons, Ghosts, and I really like Queens as well. I like the casters that no one uses because they're so fun. Like, when they work, when you see them do something, it's just a lot of fun, you know? Their spells are annoying to deal with in some cases. I still love it. Maelstrom is so good against Zerg. Like, we saw in that DeWalt versus ZeLoT game where he just Maelstrom like 8 Overlords that were dropping and won the game because of it. That's how strong Dark Archons can be. Feedback is really good as well. Plague is kind of the ultimate weapon against Zerg late game. Against Protoss late game. But if you can feedback all the Defilers, they're dead. Like, Defilers are always walking around on full energy, so they always die. Now, the one problem LML might have is where is he going to take his 5th base? Expanding to the middle is going to be difficult because it is so out in the open. You can come in from any angle as Zerg. But obviously, Dai has the same problem. Like, how does he expand? Looks like he wants to take the base up in the top left. But that's not too difficult for LML to be able to push into. Now, LML is actually maxed and has been for a while, so his bank is going higher and higher. But it doesn't look like he's ready to attack yet. He wants to take a good engagement. Looks like the Dark Archon leading the charge here. Mind Control, obviously quite a good unit, quite a good spell as well. There's a lot of Hydras here just kind of sitting here doing nothing, but let's see how this push goes. High Templar going down to some Lurkers, not something you see every day, but looks like LML going to back up again. Now, Zamurdi saying, Mind Control is the best. Can Protoss units go through a Nidus? I don't actually know. I don't think I've ever seen that happen. No, I don't think I've ever seen a Mind Control Zerg build a Hive. Ah, so Protoss units apparently can go through the Nidus if you build it yourself. That makes sense. Yeah, if you build Zerg you can, but... Oh, okay, so Lucky Noob is saying not Protoss units. Now, oh my god, nice Storm, he saves his probes. Oh, and those Hydras wanted to die. Now, 21 minutes into the game, we've got LML with a massive bank. The investment Protoss over here getting ready for the future. We've got the DT shuttle finally coming back. He did kill the spawning pool. The spawning pool finally died, but did Adrenaline finish first? I'm not too sure. It's still 1-2. +2 attack is still not done yet, but we do have +3 armor coming in at the same time. Base gets cancelled up in the top left. This is when things start to get a little bit harder to keep on top. The reason why LML is banking so hard is because he didn't push. Like, he's not really had a reason to push. He's trying to starve the Zerg out, and it's working. Now, Dai is actually not mining in his main at the moment. His natural is almost mined out. His third base is completely gone, and he is down to essentially this one healthy base when his main goes down. Now, we do have Overlords loading up, so we are going to see some drops coming in. Nice storm on the drones there. Nice storm on that lurker at the front and on the Hydras as well. And LML should really start to move in to go for an attack. He's got 200 energy on his Dark Archon. Can or did he go for mind control? That is the question I want to know. If he mind controls the drone and runs it away, I'm calling LML the winner. I don't care what happens at the end of the game. Now the Dark Archon getting ready. We do have a Maelstrom after a feedback, but the feedback came in after the Swarm was already done. So that's a little bit unfortunate. The Dark Archon does manage to survive and will be able to fall back, but that's not something he wants to push into. ZeLoT's not quite fully upgraded yet, so the Lings did have crack. They've got Adrenaline upgrade, so that did finish in time, and he does have another spawning pool as well, so he's able to rebuild them. Pulling back with his army though, definitely going to trade very efficiently here. Now there is a drop in the Protoss main base at the moment. It is a lot of Zerglings, a few Hydras and a Lurker. And these are the kind of moves that Protoss need, or Zerg need to make. He's got a Defiler here as well, which he can use for Swarm. Now there are some High Templar coming back here, but the main Nexus should go down, and that's going to be a little bit unfortunate. DT going to go down. He's not using his Storm. If he just storms these Lings, they're not going to be a problem. Looks like he's lost control of his units a little bit. He is trying to pull his army back from the main. Oh my goodness. Dai with the perfect strategic positioning here, leaving all of his Lurkers in a position to deal with the retreating units. Dai may have just won the game with this. That is perfect. Oh my goodness. So much destruction. Oh man, that is not good for LML. That's basically his entire army that's just gone down. And LML, who is in an incredible position, has lost a lot of his buildings in his main. There's still Storm on this High Templar. He should just storm the Zergling. Okay, there we go. He's finally going to clear it up. But moving his army back like that just lost his whole army to the Lurkers. Like, that is really, really cool. I've not really seen too many Zerg players do that, but Dai coming in perfectly. LML is down to 2 bases. Dai is up in supply now. He's going for his 5th base. His other bases are mined out, essentially, so he doesn't need it. But LML is in a lot of trouble now. I mean, LML has a lot of money, but he barely has any gateways remaining. And most of them are unpowered. Okay, a lot of them are unpowered. Okay, only one's unpowered. Ignore everything I just said. But Lurkers are outside his main. Like, how does he defend this? Now, one of the big things about this map, it is a 2-player map, which makes it a little bit harder to build gateways elsewhere. There's not really a huge amount of space for gateways, but more units being dropped into the main base, I think. I think Dai's done it. Dai is pushing through, and he's done so much damage here. LML is in a lot of trouble, and people are confusing me in chat by saying MasterRey, but I know this is LML. And I mean, LML is going to do his best to hold on. This DT is worth its weight in gold at the moment. The Overlord's just out of range. But the Overlord's coming in here, going to help clean these up. MasterRey is down. So, oh, damn, I said it. Damn! I was doing so well. LML down to 4 gateways, none of them powered. He's got 3 gateways at his other base. And Dai is in such a good position now. Oh my goodness. It's 37 probes against 31 drones. The base nearly went down. 75 health remaining on that hatchery. The LML no longer has a main. LML has no main. He's got barely any gateways. And he is in a lot of trouble. Like, there are Reavers up at his other base, which should help him defend against, like, any attacks down here. But Dai, with the ultimate move, the ultimate flank, has just basically taken the game, I think. Like, LML is not out of the game. He's got so much money. Given enough time, he can come back. He can still try and starve the Zerg player. The Zerg is still low on bases. The Zerg is essentially on 1 mining base right now. This base is coming up. But, I mean, it's gonna die, right? Zerg is starving. He does have a bigger army. He's got a lot of gas, which isn't really going to help without any minerals, but as I said, give it enough time, LML can come back in this game. This is such a weird situation to be in. Look at this, two zealots coming over here. The lair is trying to be built. He wants to kill it. He's trying to focus it down. There's 45 damage. Oh, 24. He's like 1 hit away. Oh my goodness. Can he send another couple of zealots? A DT is going to run in and finish off the job. But if the lair finishes, that's a big boost to the health. Okay, we've got a big push coming in on one of the last remaining bases of LML. We've got a lot of Storm here, though. A lot of Zealots as well. And it looks like he should be able to hold on to this base. Nice, nice Storms. Here comes the DT. The lair goes down. And he is going to be able to clean up these units as well. There's no Overlord down here, but over here at the third base, there's still a lot of pushing going on. But it looks like, for the most part, all of the units have gone down. The Lurkers are not going to morph. And yeah, this is good for LML all of a sudden again. But the Lurker, of course, not going to be able to do anything. I swear I just heard a mine go off, but it must have been the sound of it doing the thing. Oh, he's trying to. Oh, he wants to kill the. He wants to kill the Defiler. The Defilers are really what's going to give him trouble. Okay, we've got 3 more gateways up here. There's not many units, but we do have 2 Reavers. That's going to help defend this base for sure. Reavers do a lot of damage even under Swarm. But does need to control this perfectly. Lots of damage. The Reaver at the back, taking a lot of health, or a lot of damage, but still alive. Zealot running out up there, killing all of the units. Dai in a lot of trouble now because Dai is down to 1 mining base. LML is on 3, and LML has a huge bank. Oh my goodness. What a sick PvZ. Now LML is continuing to hold on. It looks like I sounded like both the Reavers went down. So there's not actually that much that can defend against the swarms. There is a lot of Storm here, but they do whiff, so they don't quite hit the Lurkers. There is another Lurker under the Swarm here. That's a nice Storm, though. This is such a strange situation to be in. 31 kills on this DT, by the way. Oh my goodness. But more units coming in here to this top left-hand base. It looks like the base is going to go down. He's upgrading shields here. That is a risky place to get an upgrade. But the base is going to get taken down, it looks like. LML must be so, like, not triggered, but it must be so hard to play from a situation like this. You're essentially down to 1 base and you've only got 3 gateways when you have 4k bank. 4k bank, and you can't spend it. You've got no tech. All of his tech died. He can only build Reavers. He does not have a Templar Archives yet, so any Templar that he's just lost, he can't rebuild. Like, LML, he's fighting from behind. He's doing an okay job, though. It's not the end of the world. The 31 kill DT is going to come back in here and try and go for some more drones. But Dai is on 1 base. It's about to mine out. They're down to 67 to 82 supply. And this game is far from over. Okay, we've got a lot of Zealots coming in. And that is because essentially we've only just now got the... Oh my goodness. If that Scourge had hit, that would have been 2 dead Reavers. Look how low this shot is. Oh my goodness. Okay, the Reaver going to be used there. Can he use the other Reaver? Yeah, he's going to use it for defense. He's not going to try and attack here. But Dai is going to try to expand here. The DT still in position to block the base. But there we go. He's going to go for some more units. Doesn't want to attack this because the DT will show itself on the minimap. But yeah, okay, so the drones have run back now. The drones know that there's a DT there, so he's going to have to abandon this position. The Observer, seeing everything that's going on. Both players are 90 supply, essentially, with only around 20 to 30 workers. So there's some big armies. Now, LML, of course, going to be in trouble because he still can't build from that many gateways. He's got no buildable terrain left, essentially, on the bases that he's on. He could build some gateways down here, but he has to defend them somehow. Now, here is a storm. Is he going to use it? Looks like he's not going to. ZeLoT's just going to kind of chase for the time being. Reaver's going to be used to push here. The Shuttler's going to go down, though, so the Reavers are going to get stuck. Going to pull those back immediately to try and get back home. There's a second Shuttle here, but that's also going to go down most likely, so don't want to deal with that. There's going to be a Plague on the Reavers. That's annoying to deal with. Oh, please do not pick that up. That's actually a hold position Scourge. He can't bait it. He's trying the best he can to get rid of it. But he's going to use this as an opportunity to head up to the top left-hand corner. But these Reavers are going to be low. But he is going to be able to kill some drones here. There are some Hydras coming back already. Oh my god, more drones are coming in. If he gets the wrong timing here, these drones are all going to die. Every single drone is going to die here. He has to target fire them though. The Reavers are going to die. No, he's going to lose the Reavers. He doesn't get the... Oh, he doesn't get the money shot on the drones. Oh, the supplies are still so close. We're 33 minutes into the game. LML has essentially run out of places to expand to. His army is defending his remaining base over on the left-hand side. He cannot expand here. He cannot defend it. But Dai is now up to 3 bases. Dai's economy is in tatters still, even with those 3 bases. Oh, wait. Oh my god. Why is he killing his Templar archives? What is he doing? Is this a misclick? No! Why did he kill it? It doesn't matter if the Reaver's trapped. Oh, it was blocking his gas. I think it was blocking his gas. He couldn't... Wait, he doesn't need to mine gas, though. He needs the Templar Archives and Storm. Swarm, even. Massive Swarm on those units. Look, he needs Dark Archons. Wait, has he got another Templar Archive somewhere? He's building another one. Wait, what? How? Wait, what? Did he build those just as the Templar Archives died? I mean, the tech is going to be safer down here, and I guess it does mean he can abandon this base sooner and go to expand, but I mean, the Swarm is going to be so important. Dark Archon and feedback is going to be so unbelievably important in this game. Ah, pylon block, and that's why he was queued. Okay, I didn't notice that. That's how they built. Right, fair enough. Okay, that makes sense. It's kind of hard to keep an eye on everything. That looks like a DT trying to come in and replicate the 6... Oh my god, it's the same DT. 39 kills. This is the veteran of Aya, my goodness. I guess it's a veteran of Tal'Darim, right? Because... Is it Tal'Darim where the Dark Templar live? Oh, that DT is still alive. Oh, it's Shakura's, sorry. Oh, thank you, Shakura's. It looks like we are going to have a push out with the High Templar, the Dark Archon, and the Zealots. And nice. Oh, he shouldn't have feedback, though. He should... Maelstrom is good, but he really should have stopped himself getting plagued again, I think. The most inefficient plague in the world takes a 200 unit down to 2 health. Now, pylons in the main finally going to get cleaned up. Not that it's really going to help too much. LML looks like he wants to go and save his main. Now that DT is now on 41 kills, 42, 43, 44. He doesn't want to lose it. He's playing very gingerly with this DT. I want to keep on, I'm just going to keep this clicked. I want to see how long this DT survives. How many kills can it get to? Okay, LML's main is clear. There's minerals here. Is he going to re-expand to it? Is he going to re-expand to his main? I think he's going to re-expand to his main, isn't he? Oh no, the DT's going to die. Not like this. Okay, he wants to kill it so bad. He wants to... Oh my god, he's going for the base. Oh, but more lings. No! The 45 DT is... Or 45 kill DT is going to go down. 46. 46 kills on the DT before he falls over. The 4 gateways of LML. Still unable to really build anything because he's supply blocked again. And he's got no room to build pylons. Now, are we going to see a re-expansion into his main? If he can re-expand into his main, he can mass gateways again. But the trouble is, die. Oh wait, Reavers. Oh my god, Reaver's coming in here. This is going to kill this base very quickly. Does he have the Reaver damage upgrade, I wonder? He's going to pick up, fly away. Oh, I hate when there's Scourge like that. The shuttle's going to go down, so all of a sudden these Reavers are going to die. And that's not something you want happening. They are going to be able to take out a lot of these... oh, he doesn't have the... Oh my god. The Reavers are going to survive. No, they're not. No, they are going to go down. But not without a good fight, killing a lot of units on their way out. Now, LML is back to the point where he can't really push because his army isn't strong enough to take on the Lurkers and Swarm. But LML needs to expand to his main, like, right now. He has to get a probe down there. That is the most important base on the map for him right now. He can also take this base as well, but... both players don't really have an economy. Like... I don't know, this is so weird. Like, I don't know how to call this game. This could go either way. This is definitely one of the coolest games we've had so far, this STPL. Now, it looks like he wants to push into the fresh base. But the Storm isn't here. The Dark Templar isn't here. Oh, okay, here's the Dark Templar, but the Dark Archon isn't here, which is what I wanted to say. Storm coming in. But there should be enough Zerg to be able to defend against this. High Templar getting taken down. Oh, these Storms need to come out. He needs to Storm with this High Templar before it dies. Looks like he's going to get a couple of Storms in. Nice Storms so far. Or is he going to feedback? Yes, he does. Feedbacks on that Defiler. So much Storm here. He's got so much gas that he's got nothing but High Templar, basically. Dark Archon at the front, gonna maelstrom some of these units at the front. Nice Storm combo. But he's not able to break the base. And now LML is down 50 supply against Zerg. He still has so much money. Why is he not expanding to his main? If LML had his main and he had 1 million gateways right now, he would be in a good position to win this game. But the Storms on the Lurkers, so good. But one more Lurker does remain and there's nothing that can kill it. Okay, there's a Reaver here. He does have the Scarab damage upgrade now. There's still Storm over here as well, so... yeah, LML just needs... he needs bases. He needs a way to spend his money. And right now, he doesn't have it. Oh, oh my god, is this Ling gonna kill the Archon before it finishes? No, it doesn't. Okay. But the Reaver's coming in here. We had another Swarm... not Swarm, Plague come down. Because I keep thinking of saying Storm, but that's wrong. But this Archon not really going to help too much. We do have a Storm over here. We've still got 2 Reavers, which are worth their weight in gold. Oh, but here we go. We've got Reavers behind the mineral line. One of the Reavers does go down. But the Reaver does get a few of the drones. Looks like he's getting another drone here. Now there is a shuttle here, but the Corsair is going to chase, or not the Corsair, the Scourge going to chase it. Now he should be able to get away to his cannons, and that means this Reaver is going to live to survive another day. Has he got another Reaver coming in? Yes, he does. So, I mean, as long as LML just gets bases and buildings, he can still win the game. Like, he just needs gateways, he needs units, because DY has so many hatcheries that it doesn't even matter. Like, he can just rebuild his army on no matter how much money he has very, very quickly. Yeah, now SCP saying in chat as well, like 40 minutes into the game, both players are on 30 workers. Also, Doc is saying this map is bad. Everyone pile on Doc. I'm gonna use my clout to like send my followers after Doc Holiday. But I think this could be the final push. There's so much Zerg here. There's not much Protoss. He's got a lot of technical units, but I don't know if this is going to work out. Let's keep an eye on the engagement. Storm coming in, helping out a little bit. The Reavers at the back going to help out in defense. But LML never chose to expand to his main again, and I think that's going to be his downside. And yeah, I was making a joke about the clout thing, but yeah, still looks like the final base, the final gateways are going to go down from LML here, and it looks like Dai has managed to do it. GG, LML taps out, and after an incredibly epic PvZ, Dai wins the series for DM. That was really, really sick. But thank you for the 1,000 bits, man. And by the way, that is going to be... Does that reach? What did we get to? 42-48. That's actually made it to be the 4th longest game of the STPL. And you know the funny thing? Venom versus Last. King Venom made it into the longest games, and he is going to get kicked out. King Venom is not going to be in the top 5 anymore. He's only been there a week. But there we go. Now let's have the wins. That was a great series. We had a lot of really weird games that series, but that was definitely the best game by far I think we had today. So let's get over and introduce the results. So of course it was a 3-1 victory there for DM. MasterRey taking down Sandara in game number 1. Bonbom taking down rOuta on Paradise. Whip taking down Cryoc, which I would say that's quite a bit of an upset on Neo Moon Glaive. And then Dai taking down LML on Blindside. A good series. I definitely think that some of the other teams, especially the mid-table teams, are going to be happy with how that went for Red, because Red are going to be a little bit further away from getting into the playoffs. So what we're going to do, let's very quickly skip to... let's look at the... Oh, I can't look at the stat screen because we're going to close it. You know what? Let's just go into the team ranking screen and see if I can load it up quick enough. I didn't load it up quick enough, but it's all good. We'll bring it up now. It's all well and good, but let's have a look at the team standings for the rest of this season. Well, for the end of week 6. So SouL at the top with 6-0. Wiko in second with 5-1. Ash in third with 4-2. NetWars tied with 4-2, but don't have as good game win score with 4-2 as well. Naz with 3-3, IRK on 3-3, Red on 2-4, DM move up into 8th with 2-4, ReV in 9th with 1-5, and then Storm unfortunately 0-6. There are 3 weeks left until the playoffs. It looks like SouL have comfortably made it in to the top end of the playoffs, but obviously the top 6 teams will make it through. There is seeding to be taken into account as well, so every single series is going to be super important. Looks like Ash are finally going to get into their playoff position. They've not made the playoffs so far, but they are going to be getting into it this season, I think. So very well done to them so far. But let's see how it's going to go. We'll be back on Monday with some more STPL action. Thank you all for tuning in. Hopefully you have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you guys next week. If you're watching this, you're watching the STPL. Hopefully you've been enjoying what you've seen so far. If you want to help me make more STPL content to bring more tournaments to you, please support us on Patreon, which you can find up here, and also There's so many different things you can get through Patreon. One of the main and one of the easiest ones to get is, of course, access to all of the replays of the STPL so far. We've had some amazing games, such as some of the games you can see just over here.